Good morning, Caroline. I want to take a moment here and review the lesson we had yesterday. As we take a look at this, this was where you initially started off the lesson in the evening there. What we were looking at here and what we kind of reviewed during our lesson yesterday was primarily going to be your stance, going to be your grip, and is going to be a turn. Trying to make a turn, getting the whole body to turn through rather than only certain parts. And what I mean by that, well, let's take a look here. You can see as you go to take the club back, club's already to halfway up, and you notice at this point here, your shoulders are turning, but your hips or your trunk area is not. It's remained stationary. As you get up to the top, it's like the club is almost being picked up only by the hands. And you can kind of see there is a lot of just the hands or the right hand in this case, because you can see how the left wrist is kind of bowed, kind of bent in this case, and the right hand just kind of pulling the club up. You've turned your shoulders quite a bit because you can see how the shoulders are directly into your chin there. Now, as you come back down and through, you see how your body kind of changes position as it comes down, and as you turn down into it, you start from a position of here, 63 degrees, but then as you go down to the ball, you get almost down to 45 degrees. And it's that position, and it shows that you have been an athlete or you're an athlete throughout your life just because you've got good hand-eye coordination. And what I mean by that is that, you said you did take a class once before, but when looking at this, you can see that you are focused on the ball, in this case here, but you're putting club to ball. Okay, by putting club to ball, get the ball up. Now, the reason why your hips, in this case, you see your hips want to turn, because everything's turned to the left-hand side. And if I was standing over here on on the left-hand side of you over here, you could not physically turn through and shake my hand on the right-hand side without turning your trunk location or there again, your shoulders. So as you see this here, you kind of just see little to no weight transfer or little to no effective weight transfer. And what I mean by that, as we look here, you can see how that right foot stays planted on the ground the entire time. Now, you even said, as we discussed this, and we're going to move to the next frame, but just to show you here, you can see the entire time that foot stays on the ground. So then as we go to the next frame, this is what we've seen. This is a side view of it kind of showing here. What we see here, one, is width of your stance. Maybe a little wide for your body frame. What I mean by that is when we look here, I like to see the insteps of your feet being about right underneath your underarms here. By going right underneath the underarms ensures that the stance is about shoulder width apart. More of that stable foundation, stable position, allowing you to turn back and turn through. Now, when we look at this here, let me get those lines out of there and just kind of show you here. We did talk about in this lesson here turning in a barrel. Okay. Now, when we look here, I want to just show you this. As you come back here, there's that position. You can almost see how that right hand, you can kind of see, because you can kind of see, watch the right hand kind of bow up as it's pulling the club up. You can just see how it's just pulling everything else around. Good shoulder turn, but you can see how now as you come back into it, you see how your body, everything kind of leans forward, lunges down at the ball. Like I said, great hand-eye coordination because you're putting club to ball. But there, through, no weight transfer. Now, as we look here, this is what we're kind of looking to get into. Now, hold on. Give me one more second here. We can see as we get the club turned back, you can see how she gets I'm not saying you get a lot of turn, but you still see a big difference between the way her hands are there and the way your hands are here, the way your body structure is. You can see how the left knee came back to the left-hand side rather than yours kind of keeping its form per se. It looked like you're almost, stressing to be just in that position. But obviously, we're trying to make this simple and effective for you. So what we worked on, and as we go through this, you can see how she makes her turn down. You can see in this case here, look at the two different positions here in impact here. You see how her hips are turning through. hips turn through, hands down the line, and let's go to the top there as well. Big difference between that swing and that swing there. But eventually, do I think you can get there? And do I think, it's not necessarily are we building your swing to be exactly like that, but what we're looking to do ideally is to try to get you to make an effective turn back and through to where it feels consistent, one, but also just making that turn to where it feels comfortable and simple per se for you as well. So first thing we talked about was getting you into your stance. Now by getting you into your stance, let me get here. I'm sorry, actually we talked about your grip there. Let me get back into here, here. It looks like I had the club, had the camera upside down there. Well, let's do this here. Let's get you in one. And so when we kind of showed you, I walked you through this. We talked about your grip. Now, when we looked here, this is where I want to show you. If I could flip you, I would. Flip it upside down, but I can't. But what I want to show you here, there's a V that gets formed here. This V would be pointing to your right shoulder, whereas this little V here goes towards your left. Ideally, what we'd like to see is we'd like to see both of them forming together. So initially, when you go to take your grip, this is where I kind of had you redo it here. There we go. And as you did this, I think the key factor for you that made it feel a little more comfortable to you was two knuckles. Seeing those two knuckles, and as you did that, it allowed you to get into a better position. So, 1 second there. I thought that was that's the overlap grip, but all right, I guess I don't have it. But initially, as you went forward and as you continued to swing, and as you got into your golf swing, you can see how. Hold on 1 second. When we get to there, I'm going to show you just how your grip looks per se. All right, you can see a big difference in your grip here, and that's even getting into a much better position. So what we talked about doing was as you put the club in your hand, one, we talked about getting bigger grips. More of a mid-sized grip would be more effective for you. We put the club, hand to the side of the club, we wrap the fingers, then we wrap the hand. You see the two knuckles on the left hand? Then we bring in, and for you, I want you to interlock your index finger and your pinky finger. So index finger of your left hand, pinky finger of your right hand. Now, as you do that, what we're trying to do is to get the V's here. You see here? Get that V pointing up, going over here, and doing the same here. For you, getting where the hands are going to operate together rather than fighting one another as they come back and through and allow one hand to be dominant over the other. So that's the one case. Now, as you did this, we did it over and over, so it made it a little bit more effective for you. But what we talked about next was in your stance, trying to get you into a position that felt a little more comfortable and a little more consistent. So as we look here, I'm going to show you your stance here. What we talked about here for your stance, you can see a big difference between there and all right, as you set down into that, the big difference comes from you did an excellent job of getting the back straight. Looks great here, but you can see how your arms are hanging out away from you here. Ideally, we want to get the weight up on the balls of your feet. So initially, when you look at your legs are a little more bent, probably more than what I'd like to see. I said I want your knees to be just out over, right at about your toe line, but getting the weight to where it's a little bit more on the balls of your feet, one, but then two, the arms kind of hang naturally down from there. You can kind of see that position, big difference between those two pictures there, but you can definitely see as the setup on the left-hand side, everything is more balanced here, more aligned with one another, whereas here, the weight could possibly go back to the left and or it kind of feels like you're reaching out towards the club. So those were the first two, grip and stance. And then as we moved on, what we tried to do is I gave you the ball drill. Now the whole thought of the ball drill was turning within this barrel. Being able to turn at 10 o'clock. I want that left arm to feel like it's up at 10 o'clock. Turn down and turn through. And you can kind of see this whole position. And we talked about, do you get that right foot up off the ground? Well, yeah. I said in the barrel, sometimes if you got stuff by you, you might not be able to. But all I want you to do is I want you to turn back here to the top, get that shoulder turn. See those hips there? Much better position. You can kind of see a big difference between right here and here. You know, you can tell the difference in your legs, one, and vice versa, shoulders and hips. See how the hips are turned? Getting that good position there. Body staying within its position, so then all to do is the ball comes down. We turn down. There's that right foot. Look at that. That right foot comes up off the ground. Great job there. Big difference between down here and there. You can see hips have turned a little bit more, almost what I would say a belly button or belt buckle being in line or touching this side of the barrel here. When we look right here, that's what we want to see. Bam. Okay, so 15 to 20 reps what I'd like to see back and forth, making that turn through. Now, next, obviously you wanted to hit the ball, which is quite all right, no problem at all. I just wanted you to be aware that, make it as easy as possible for you. So what we did here on the left is I gave you a big ball. And all I want you to do is with the focus of, one, keeping the head centered, being able to turn back, feeling a little bit of turn with those hips, and turning down and through. Look at the difference just already in that swing there on the left-hand side compared to where you were on the right-hand side. Big difference just in a little bit of time, just by having the grip, having the stance, and having the position. Now, obviously, you don't have to do that. I'd like for you to do it every day, but if you don't have time, I understand. But if you'd like to, I'd like to just see 15 to 20 swings. Just taking a club back, working in your position here, turn back, turn down, turn through. Okay, great position there. Let's do it again. That time you felt it. See it there. You felt that position not be correct. So as you turn back here, and turn up to the top, definitely see a turn because you can watch that little Nike picture there. Turn up, turn down, and through. Even big difference there, Caroline. So if you have any questions, by all means, like I said, 2 drills. 1, doing the ball drill, 15 to 20 reps, and then go right into swinging the club, 15 to 20 reps. Make sure that you are turning within that barrel. We are setting up to it each time, not we're just staying in one spot and swinging over and over and over. I want you to set up to it each time. That way the stance feels comfortable, the grip feels comfortable, and then the turning feels comfortable as well. Any questions, give me a call, 314-724-6539, or shoot me an email at michaelwyattgolf@gmail.com. Thank you, ma'am.